You're not visually impaired, right?
Today I went in to ask her for a few things, milk, bread, and such like.
When I heard the harming of an approaching Karen, I decide not to look around in case she has targeted someone else.
But no such luck, as a sharp jab in the shoulder tells me otherwise.
Why aren't you paying attention? I've been asking you to help me for 5 minutes.
Bullshit, she's just arrived.
I turn to her and give the best for fuck's sake face I can muster, and reply with the old IDWHL.
I then give a couple of other faces, as I see a manager approaching,
and realize that the opportunity to do something mean has all but effectively disappeared. Instead, I point to the manager and tell her to speak to him. The manager looks at me and asks, "Is she bothering you too?"
That tells me that somebody else, maybe even several other people, has complained about her. I nod. Before the Karen can open her mouth, the manager asks her if she can see what I'm wearing, and how my gray shorts and blue t-shirt don't match the black trousers and green polo shirt that the staff wear. To which she replies, "Of course I can." The manager then asks, "So you are definitely not visually impaired?"
Blinda says the Karen, "Of course I'm not blind. I can see what he's wearing."
But I want him fired for not helping me.
And why did you ask if I'm blind? Anyway?
Well, I reckon that if you can't tell that he is a customer and clearly not a member of staff, says the manager, gesturing at me.
You are either blind, stupid, or mad.
And you're not blind. The Karen just went beetroot red and stormed off. Best manager I've met in ages.
I'm not sure you should be shopping unsupervised. This happened to me yesterday. Is a little different from most of the stories on here. A rather elderly lady came up to me in Target, asked me where the cereal was. I politely told her I didn't work there, which should have been obvious, given that I was wearing blue, not the Target red, plus khakis, but pointed her a couple of aisles over. She apologized very sincerely and went on her way. However, as she passed me, I noticed that her cart already had some cereal in it. I thought that was a little strange, but didn't say anything. I kept shopping and passed by her in the cereal aisle, at which point she stopped me and asked me where the soup was. I took a quick glance in her basket and noticed it had some soup in it already. At this point, I realized she probably has Alzheimer's or some other kind of memory loss, and decided to just help her get through her shopping. We had to put a few items back, but got through it without too much difficulty. When we got to the front of the store to check out, a young lady in a non-Target green uniform came running up to her and asked where she had been. Explained the situation, and she calmed down a bit and explained that she was the driver for the retirement community and had been waiting for the elderly lady I was assisting so she could pay and get back to the community. She took over from there, and I went back and finished up my shopping. It was an interesting day. I just hope that in the future they don't let her shop alone. Edit. Wow, this was a lot more popular than I expected. Thank you so much for all the awards. I'll try and thank all of you individually if I can get logged in on my computer. It's sad to me that helping out others is considered so unusual for so many of us, but I hope you all go out and some good today anyway.
Karen mistakes me for a bank employee, proceeds to attempt to rob the bank, and gets arrested. Background: about 20 years ago I worked for a company that made software for banks and credit unions. Two smaller regional banks merged, and we were called in to upgrade all the branches for the same version of software and to point the networks to the new consolidated bank. This happens after hours so as to not interfere day-to-day operations. The whole process took several hours on site at each branch, so we were sure we would have plenty of time to roll things back if anything went wrong. We started a few hours before the bank closed. This would give us time to fix anything before the bank opened the next day. The process started with a meeting to go over the plan for the branch so the bank's staff, some of who would be helping with the process because my team doesn't have complete access to the bank's systems. This is a small bank. There's for offices a conference room and space for like 5 tellers up front. It turned out it was payday for some large employer or something, but just as I started my meeting with the branch manager, the 2 staff from my company, and the 2 bank employees who would be opening the bank the following day, the bank starts to get really busy. The meeting lasts about 30 minutes, and all the while the line and waiting area is filling up, so I rush through the details for the bank manager and relieve him, then the 2 opening staff. I leave the details for my team for last. My team knew the process. They just needed to know what computers to start on first. Anyway, I dismissed the bank staff, and they go to help the rush up front, and I continue my meeting with my team, then send them out to get some food, since it looks like the bank might not close on time anyway. I head over to the bank manager's office, and immediately a woman ducks under the rope line and makes straight for the office and tries to follow me inside. I didn't see her step out of line, so I at first thought maybe she was a bank employee. As soon as I turned around, she said something like, "It's about damn time. I've been waiting for half an hour." This was bullshit because we started the meeting at 4:30 and it wasn't even 5 o'clock yet. I tried to tell her she was mistaken. I don't work at the bank, but she cut me off, not even paying attention to what I was saying. She plopped herself down in one of the chairs and said, "I need to make a withdrawal." I replied, "Sorry, I can't help you with that. You will need to wait in line." "No, I already waited for an hour. I know you can do it. You've done it before." She slaps her ID and bank card on the desk and says, "Just open the damn drawer and give me $2,000. I can't. I don't. I could even finish explaining I don't work there. "Bullshit. You've done it before. Give me $2,000. I can't." That's it. At this point, she has raised her voice and is now standing. I assumed she was going to leave, and I went to open the door, but she pushed me back and yelled, "I'm not leaving this office until you give me $2,000. She then picked up a screwdriver out of the toolkit sitting on the desk and starts prying at the desk drawer. I push her back, and she swings at me with the screwdriver. I step back, but she scratches my arm, tearing my shirt, and goes back to prying at the drawer. I've had it at this point. I'm thinking she's nuts and I need to do something. I look out the office, and it looks like everyone is busy and think maybe they didn't notice her yelling. It looks like she's not making any progress on the desk. It's too sturdy. I try a calmer approach and try to get her attention. She stops for a moment and looks at me like she forgot I was there. "Are you going to get me my money or what?" she snapped. "I'm not an employee of the bank." "Bullshit, you were just in the meeting with the other employees." "Yes, but—" "Then get me my money or get out of my way." She interrupted before pushing me again. I finally had it. I looked out the window and it seemed like all the bank employees were calm and quiet. I thought, fuck if I'm just going to stand here and watch her rob the bank. She was a big woman, but I played hockey against bigger, so even if she had a few pounds on me, I was pretty sure I could at least slow her down. I took a step back, brought my shoulder down then with a step and a short lunge. I shoulder-checked her into the brick wall behind her. She smacked her head on the wall, gave a short whump as I knocked the wind out of her, and then she collapsed to the floor unconscious. I watched her suspiciously for a moment, thinking that was easier than I thought. Why didn't I do that earlier? And then I thought, maybe I hurt her, so I knelt down to check on her. She was breathing. I shouldn't move her. The screwdriver flew across the office, so I just stepped over her and walked out into the bank. About that time I heard sirens, lots of them. A short while later some police came into the bank. Having just assaulted a woman, leaving her unconscious, I put my hands up. The police walked over, looked at me, then walked into the office. I turned around, and the bank staff were pointing at the office where I just left. Evidently they triggered the silent alarm as soon as she yelled at me to give her money. They moved the other customers to the conference room, and we are following protocols to comply and not interfere. The end result was she woke up to being handcuffed. She was seen by an EMT briefly before being arrested for armed robbery, kidnapping, and assault. The screwdriver from the toolkit was taken as evidence, and we teased my tech for the next few years. "You get your screwdriver back yet?" She came in for $2,000 and left with 5 to 10. She spent 4 years in prison as an assault victim. In that state they notified me when she got out. TLDR, I'm not a bank teller. I just do software maintenance. Lady doesn't believe me and decides to force the cash drawer open. I knocked out a Karen. Silent alarm brings cops who arrested her. She spent 4 years in prison.
Check out my other tremendous videos.